September 1959, the beginning of the country's first broadcaster. It was a small experiment featuring a low-power transmitter and a makeshift studio that led to a network of 21 television channels representing the culture and shaping the mass conscience of an entire nation. Given the magnitude of this development, it was inaugurated by none other than the then President Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Today, Doordarshan, also fondly known as DD, is one of India's largest broadcast organizations with a vast infrastructure of studios and transmitters. But it began with only 21 community television sets as a division of the Prasar Bharati. The engineering and programming support for this endeavor was provided by All India Radio. We have breaking news 24/7 right now, but at that time, the broadcast was limited only to Delhi and to about a 40-kilometer coverage area around it. That too, only 2 or 3 times a week and for only 1 hour. But it was a novel idea, and it has taken many breakthroughs in science and technology over decades to get to where we are today. Information and entertainment are a daily part of our lives now. But Doordarshan is where it all started. Hello and welcome to A Century of Stories, brought to you by IDFC FIRST Bank, always you first. I am your host Kunal Vijaykar, and this is the story of the humble beginnings of Doordarshan. Doordarshan, literally meaning distant vision ya dur ka darshan, first came to life on screens in 1959. But the transmission was not regular, and there were hardly any television sets to begin with. It was only in 1965 that Doordarshan became a daily service, including a 5-minute news bulletin first read by Pratima Puri and later by many other newsreaders, stalwarts such as Salma Sultan, Gitanjali Iyer, Shamina Rang and Rini Simon Khanna, who became iconic names and familiar in every household. On the 26th of January 1967, the first episode of the program Krishi Darshan was aired on Doordarshan. It presented solutions to farmers' problems and spoke about the latest in agricultural research and practices. A 20-minute segment, it became a significant milestone for an agricultural country like ours. It is India's longest-running program, with over 16,000 episodes. Can you believe it? And it's fascinating to know that it is still going strong. Also available to stream online now. 5 years on, in 1972, Doordarshan expanded its network from Delhi to 2 more cities, Bombay and Amritsar, and by 1975 to 7 more cities. All this time, it had been part of All India Radio. But on the 1st of April 1976, it was separated from AIR and given its own department. It was now directly under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and later came under the autonomous body Prasar Bharati. A result of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai's dialogues with NASA since 1966, another development was the experimental project called SITE, or Satellite Instructional Television Experiment, jointly designed by NASA and ISRO and broadcast by NASA's ATS-6 satellite, which India had borrowed for a year. It ran from August 1975 to July 1976, covering more than 2,400 Indian villages across 6 states. This was the first time that space technology was used to impart social education anywhere in the world. Informational television programs were made available to the financially backward sections of rural India, and this also leapfrogged India's mission to advance in the field of satellite communications, leading to its own homegrown satellite program down the line. Indian National Satellite or INSAT system in the 1980s transformed telecommunications and broadcasting. These multipurpose geostationary satellites launched by ISRO ushered in an era of pan-India transmission, with Doordarshan reaching even the remotest areas of the country. And so in 1982, Doordarshan finally became a national broadcaster. The same year, people of India saw color on their TV screens for the first time. The Independence Day speech by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was seen live all over the country in full color. This was then followed by the proud showcasing of the 1982 Asian Games, which were held in Delhi, which made color TVs quite the craze. But besides the technological aspects of India's broadcasting capabilities, Doordarshan had a much deeper emotional significance. Audiences could now watch characters and stories that reflected their own lives and struggles on screen. The programs became a source of learning, discussions, and also a means of escape. In a sense, they were a representation of our existing values and traditions, while also putting forth questions that a modern, forward-looking society was asking. Chitrahar and Rangoli were music programs which brought Bollywood songs to the living room. The 80s also gave us the first serial drama, Hum Log, the story of an Indian middle-class family with many relatable characters and aspirations. Then there was Malgudi Days, based on R.K. Narayan's book. Crime thrillers like Karamchand, Byomkesh Bakshi and Janki Jasoos. Cultural shows like Bharat Ek Khoj and Surabhi. And then there were the grand mythological sagas, larger-than-life shows like Ramayana and Mahabharat. There were then the slice of life series like Bunya, The Wagle Ki Duniya, Ye Jo Hai Zindagi and Rajni, which captivated millions and still hold a place in our collective nostalgia as a reminder of simpler days. Another familiar memory of those days is an image and sound synonymous with Doordarshan. You know what I'm talking about? The Doordarshan Eye logo, a hypnotic play on yin and yang encapsulating the world, was set to the soundtrack of Sare Jahan Se Acha, composed by Pandit Ravi Shankar and played on the Shanai by Ustad Ali Ahmad Hussain Khan. The graphics, created by National Institute of Design student Devashish Bhattacharya, the logo was animated by another student, R.L. Mistry, and played as the official title for the first time on the 1st of April 1976. For generations that grew up with only Doordarshan, spotting this logo and the theme of music is like harking back to childhood. The opening up of the Indian economy in the early 90s brought with it the advent of private cable TV networks like Zee, Sony and Star. Today there are hundreds of channels, but it is Doordarshan which reaches 90% of the Indian population through a network of 1,400 terrestrial transmitters. While DD may not match up to the glitz and glamour of many of its counterparts, it still serves important functions for the country. Not guided by profits alone, but by the interests of the entire nation, it operates regional channels across the country. Its programs aim to meet the objective of cultural and social advancement for all, focusing on important issues of social justice, public health, environment, rural development, and youth affairs. In keeping with that, Doordarshan is the only channel which telecasts rural and district level sports like Kho-Kho and Kabaddi, which may not be attractive to private players but serve a larger purpose. Another area where DD contributes is in keeping people informed of government affairs, highlighting its policies and presenting facts, but also keeping it accountable to a live broadcast of proceedings in both houses of Parliament. The importance of a strong and independent public service broadcaster cannot be underplayed in a democracy, as it can set standards for the integrity of media outlets, define cultural norms, and cater to every group in society without vested interests. The epic journey of Doordarshan may have begun from a humble start, but it was a big step in establishing the nation's media landscape. You've been listening to a century of stories brought to you by IDFC FIRST Bank. Always you first. I'm Kunal, and I'll be back next week with the story of the first ever IPL match. Watch it.